Hello, welcome back. Hopefully, everybody had some safe travels home from DreamHack Dallas and the HCS event. My name is Ashes, and with me is the most handsome co-host I could possibly ask for, Hunter. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good. I slept for 12 hours last night, which is probably more than I slept the entire weekend combined. So, yeah, starting to come back, return to the land of the living.
Mm-hmm.
DreamHack was fun, man. There's a lot of stuff going on all over the place. It's fun to get to check in on all the different games and whatnot. But it was overall a good weekend. I got to see your beautiful face and you and your wife and your whole squad. So that was awesome. Always a highlight. But yeah, I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm tired. Sarah says hi, by the way.
Let's
Um,
go.
yeah, I'm good. It's obviously was not the weekend that we had hoped for, but overall, I think that we kind of went into the event knowing that like we still have a lot of flaws in our game plan. Obviously, you're going to with only 3 weeks of practice, unless you're kind of an anomaly like a team that we saw. So we'll talk about that later. But overall, I think I saw glimpses of what I'm hoping for out of this roster, which is exciting in its own. And I think that's actually what I tweeted out was like it's really easy to be dwelling on the fact like, oh, we got top 12 again, but like I'm trying to focus on the hey, look, like when it clicked, it was clicking pretty strongly and we were looking really good. I mean, we were up 2-1 against SSG, only losing the Slayer. So if we keep ironing things out and working on things the way we need to, then that this weekend leaves me with a lot of hope and excitement.
Dude, and Avusi's nasty, bro. That was
Yeah.
sick. I got to watch his screen in person, see how he carries himself inside out to the game, and that kid's the real deal. So I would feel you just have like an eye for like young talent. I don't know, man. I got to give you some gas. I got to give you some props where it's due. Like you've done it multiple times now, where you scope these kids out. I'm like, who's that? And then I see it. I'm like, oh, like that dude's next up. So
Yeah.
really, really cool to see him kind of showing up and showing out. Playlist check-in, Nick. What do you listen to? What did you listen to on the sad drive back to your place after being eliminated from the tournament?
Honestly, this is one of the first times that I just talked with the Lyft driver because he was a former like NBA player and we were just chatting about
What?
stuff. Yeah, he was really cool. So and I had Sarah with me, so like it was one of the few times I didn't just go into my zone and just listen to Sleep Token the whole way. But when I am listening to music, it's obviously still Sleep Token.
Bro, I actually got a new artist for once for our playlist check-in. I've
Ooh,
been listening to the new Novelists record. Are you familiar with that band at all?
no.
They're a French band.
Okay.
They're really 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 like melodic but technical. But they recently got a girl singer. Their frontman left, or whatever. They got this new girl, and she
Okay.
is like unreal, dude. Like the record they just put out like a week or two ago is probably in my album of the year like discussion for sure. Like
Really?
really good, like really pretty, really like just vibey. Yeah, I probably listened to that record like 2 or 3 times on my travel day, all the way through. It was that good, which I haven't had that happen to me in a minute, so that was pretty sick.
Dang, I want to write this one down.
Yeah, novelists, bro.
Novelist.
I mean, if I'm really into it, that means you're probably gonna be really into it. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely
yeah,
get something new in your playlist, bro.
for sure. I mean, like, I don't know if it'll keep me away from Sleep Token that long, but I'm definitely down to check it out.
Yeah.
Speaking of checking things out, I'm gonna segue right into the stuff that we got to talk about because we got a whole lot to
Oh,
talk about.
please. Yes, yes.
You wanna check out? We'll start with pool play. Check out the pool play results. Talk about those if anything stood out, and then work our way through how the whole tournament played out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's start with pools.
All right, so we're going to start with Pool A, and we're going straight from the HCS LAN website. So formatting is not the prettiest, but it is very functional. So shout out to them for actually making this website. If you guys haven't seen this website, by the way, it's literally just hcslan.com. It is from HCS, and it tracks like the actual whole event, including
That's
like
pretty
open
cool.
bracket. So
Yeah.
on Friday, like I'm watching this and getting like a very quick way to see like, oh my gosh, like we're not playing Ether.
Yeah, we're not playing either because they didn't even make it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So shout out to HCS for making this happen. But pool play, starting with pool A. So
Can you
here are
if you go to all pools really quick, the all pools
oh,
tab? See, that to me is much more useful because I can actually like see who actually placed what.
okay.
So I was like, whoa, I'm looking at series. I was getting all thrown off. But yeah, start us off with pool A. Why don't you?
Okay, so Pool A, TSM, Optic, Gen G, and then the open bracket team ended up being the team from Europe, BH3. And I mean, obviously, the big one here is TSM beating Optic, Game 5, kind of a crazy sequence series of events.
I mean, that series was unreal. I don't know if you watched it at all. That Game 5 Origin Slayer literally came down to like trading down to the last man in the maze to win 50-49. Like literally insane. And TSM obviously taking it, which was good early signs for TSM. But on the other side of things, on the Optic side, Renegade was playing like perfect Halo off rip, and it was like, oh man, is this going to be one of those events? Which obviously, spoiler alert, it was one of those events where Renegade was just, the most dominant force you've ever seen. But such a good first showing for TSM that Friday, like to justify the Manny move, getting the band back together. And I was chatting with those guys. I asked Soul Snipe and Talik, I was like, do you think that it was better that everyone went their separate ways and then worked their way back together? Or do you think it would have been better if you guys would have just been teaming this entire time all the way through? And they both had a different answer. Like Soul Snipe was like, I feel like we would have been winning if we like by now. But then Talik was like, yeah, but we all needed to kind of do our own thing to learn from different people and be in different team dynamics to then bring back the new knowledge that we have to each other and like, get past our plateaus.
Yeah.
Obviously they got third, which is like that was their baseline before, right? Like so, and I don't remember the last time any of the people on that team got third without each other. So really good showing. Yeah, they toppled that pool. It was dominant. It was a great showing.
They haven't been that high of a placement since what, Worlds Season 2?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, props to them. They definitely came out. The friendship team holding strong. Taking down the green wall. I mean, nothing else really surprising. BH3, props to them for making it out of open bracket. But I'm not too surprised. I mean, this is a tough pool to land yourself in. And, Gen G is not any slouch, even though they lost both the Optic and TSM. Like, they are still a strong team. But Pool B is one that I had higher hopes for Nemesis. I thought, maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance that they 3-0 this pool, but they didn't quite do it. Shopify still reigns supreme.
And Shopify kind of buzzsawed them. Like it wasn't as competitive as I was expecting that series to be. One of the things too, overall, like, because I wanted to talk about Mindfreak and just how awesome it is to see that team stick together for so long and continue to be consistently making out of open, doing their thing. But as far as open representation goes, not a single open team winning a series in pools. You know what I mean? Like that gap kind of starting to widen a bit. Why do you think that is, Nick?
It's interesting. I think for the case of like Mindfreak, I think for them, it's just lack of good practice. I think they looked like they could have done something if they hadn't been in a pool with Shopify and Nemesis. And even Omit, I think they took a map off Omit. But Omit's still a really strong team. It's a lot of really strong players. And so I think Mindfreak just needs more reps of good practice. And if that means just, a month-long NA boot camp, then something like that could make that team stand out a little bit more. I know when they boot camped before Arlington, we scrimmed them and they played well. And they were really excited for the opportunity. We were excited for the opportunity. So I think Mindfreak is one of those teams that's like, it's just a region thing. Like they just don't have enough teams and enough diversity of practice and enough like high level competition in their region, unfortunately.
I can't even name enough players to fill up like 3 teams from the region at this point in terms of like high level, you know what I mean?
Literally. And it's kind of the same for BH3 though. BH3 is like, I think that team's been sticking together for a while, right? Because that's see if it'll let me. Yeah, so that's Sunriz, Moze, Septic, Abastra. Okay, so that team's been a team for a few seasons now. And they have good teams in their region with Zero Tenacity, with Nemesis. I would expect them to, maybe fight back a little bit more. I don't think they won a map, though.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. The only team that really had a shot of making moves from open was Unreal Nightmare. They actually went to Game 5 against Zero Tenacity in Pool C. In that matchup. Why
don't you break down Pool C as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think outside of Pool A, we kind of had a pretty good prediction on how these pools were going to go. Pool C though, that Friday, I mean, I thought Cloud9 looked great on Friday. FaZe, I mean, FaZe is just such a good team. I think that they get overlooked because of the Optic and Shopify kind of rivalry, but I hope that they kind of start getting the flowers that they're due. But off the rip on Friday, I mean, they dominated Cloud9, dominated Zero Tenacity, just looking like such a force in that pool. An Unreal Nightmare, that was Envor and guys. I mean, FR Ice Kid is next up. That kid is disgusting. Envor, Super CC. Looking at just the open bracket teams in general though, that made it out, Nick, though, it's pretty crazy to see like the international supremacy of it all. You have one seed from EU, you have one seed from ANZ, you have one seed from LATAM, and then only one NA team making it out of open with 4 spots available. Kind of unbelievable, you know. And I mean, it just kind of goes to show that even though they lost their dedicated pool play spots, these teams are talented, man, and they belong, and they're proving like, hey, you might have taken it away from us. We're just going to earn it back every time, like we're supposed to. The only letdown I would say is Ether, you know.
Yeah.
But Ether had to play Mind Freak to make it out, right? So, not like there was any free roads out of open at all. I think I was telling you this. I was joking. The last round of losers bracket was all 4 number 1 seeds from the different regions. It was the number 1 NA seed, the number 1 EU seed, the number 1 ANZ seed, and the number 1 LATAM seed all playing each other. That was the final losers round. Like, just insane.
Yeah, that's actually nuts. I was looking really quick while you were talking, so I was wrong. BH3 did take the Street Slayer against Gen G, so they did win 1 map.
Okay.
So props to them for that. And I was trying to see, because I feel like Unreal Nightmare put up a fight against Cloud9 as well.
Oh, I didn't see that series. I just saw them go to Game 5 against ZT.
Yeah, they went to Game 5 against ZT, and then I can't find... Okay, it was 3-0 for Cloud9. Were the maps even close? No, they weren't close. Okay, maybe I would have sworn I saw Envor tweeting about like how they were so close to winning 2 of their series. And Cloud9 took a map against FaZe, so props to them for that. Because FaZe, like you said, FaZe looked really good this event. I mean, I don't know what is going on in the FaZe camp, because online it's like they don't try, and I don't know how they improve, but clearly they have, because they improved their placement.
I've told you a million times, Penguins on the West Coast. That's all there is to it. It's like the biggest handicap ever, like playing this game from the West. It's like not even fair. I mean, he's like 80 ping every game in Seattle. You know what I mean? It's not like they're getting any West servers, or like, I mean, he's probably lucky to see like a 60 or a 50 ping, like, you know, playing in Central.
Is Suppressed still West Coast? Because he used to be.
He used to be. I don't know if he moved or not. I feel like he might have moved to Texas, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's just like Penguin has the biggest, I think out of any player in the pro scene, he has the biggest power up going to LAN. Like, he looks like an absolute force on LAN, and then online he's like trolling and quitting out of half my matchmaking games. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then Pool D was our pool. Obviously, there is a one standout, and that's Envy sweeping the pool, proving that the online success is not a fluke. They're not onliners anymore. They can do the same thing on LAN. So, props to them, because I know I was somebody who doubted them, and they proved me wrong, and I can admit that.
Yeah, I was absolutely a doubter as well, but I feel like justifiably so. They hadn't quite had that moment of breakout success yet on LAN. But my entire goal with the show today was actually to make sure that I gave them some love, because they absolutely put on a show. They played amazing, and it started in Pool D. I think I was warming up on a station or something, playing for fun, and that Envy Space Station match was playing out in the main stage, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, they're doing it. Like, I think they're pretty sure they went up 2-0 in that series. Like, they were dominating SSG. Like, it didn't even look like it was like competitive.
Yeah, the Aqua flag was like 5-2. I mean, they just looked really good. They looked really confident. They were fast. They looked like a slightly weaker version of the Shopify team when Shopify like started the season just winning everything online. Envy was looking that way. Descendant, I think, had probably the most standout event I've ever seen from him, and I obviously follow him really closely because I love him to death. He obviously was a complexity player for over a season and a half. And I've always known that there's this crazy amount of potential with him, and I think now it's starting to really show that, like, he found his consistency, and I think I saw maybe one map where he didn't top frag the entire lobby, top damage the entire lobby.
And he's
in
so young
a
still. He hasn't
series.
even hit his prime yet. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
still learning and growing. Like he started at such a young age. So it was only a matter of time there. But yeah, off the rip, they looked unbelievable. Talk to me. Tell me what it was like playing against them on that Friday. Like that match, you know, I had circled and did not go the way we wanted it to go. What were some of the things that you noticed about this Envy squad from the receiving end?
I think from the receiving end, from the spanking they gave us. Yeah, I mean, I was really focused on what we were doing wrong rather than what they were doing right. But if I reflect on it, then I would say what they were doing right is they were playing fast and fearless, and we were playing slow and scared. And there was even a point where I'll change the verbiage I used to what I said to the players, but basically we need to stop playing scared. And it started to kind of happen on Origin. We stopped playing as scared, but and we were able to take control of the map quite a few times. But then once we got control of the map, we immediately got scared again and like didn't pull the flag and didn't do the things that we were supposed to. Like we did steps 1 through 3 right finally, but then 4 and 5 we failed on. So you know, it was a learning experience. But Envy, man, like they were just, there was no fear. It was like, hey, I'm gonna run out, I'm gonna chow you, and I know my teammate's gonna clean it up if I die. And
Yeah.
they made themselves really difficult kills, which is also something really important in Halo, and they are doing a really good job of it. Like they're not giving themselves away for free. You have to chase them down, and they stall so much time if you try to chase down those kills that by the time you even get it, you've got their other 3 teammates on top of you and killing you and your friend. So it's like,
yeah.
I think it's interesting because in a lot of ways that team is a lot of the people who during the roster manias got let go from their teams, or whatever the case may be, were left behind, and they put together this team that came out really strong online, and I think they played like they had nothing to lose. But I think watching them more and more, it's helped me understand that they have play styles that mesh really well together. Like Descendant has always been kind of one of those players where he can be really, really strong on the map. He can move really quick. He has incredible movement, and he can hit shots when he's on. It was just about his consistency of being on and understanding the flow of Halo. But if other players on his team are matching his flow, which is what Precision's doing, which is what Piggy's doing, which is what Yaxon's doing, then it works. And it works really well. And then you've got such heavy damage dealers in Precision and Descendant. And honestly, like, Yax and I went back and forth a little bit after they beat us. I was absorbing most of the trash talk from the enemy team. So shout out to everybody who watches the show and doesn't talk in chat, because apparently this is the second event where I've been shit talked more than my players have been from this show. But no, like it was Yaxon had an impressive event as well. Like watching their matches, I was genuinely impressed because I've never seen him do on LAN what I've seen him do and be capable of online. This event, I saw it.
Yeah. The confidence was there, and it was they were playing like you said, they were playing like they had nothing to lose. I had to give Piggy props because I was like, dude, every time a team signs to a big org, they have a terrible first event. You guys are like the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
So happy for Envy to be back and to have such a good showing there. Obviously, Alpha Luminon came out of open, didn't win a series there, but man, these pools, the way they they played out, like I would say we were probably 70% on how we were predicting the pools to go, but they were thrown off in a way where, I mean, it's going to lead us right into the bracket where all the top 4 seeds were on one side of the bracket and the rest were on the other side. So why don't you take us through some of these matchups here in the winners bracket? Unreal.
All right, they need to let me zoom in more.
You need to go control mouse wheel up. There you go.
Ooh, you got the tech. Of course, now it's doing this stupid stuff. Anyways, okay, so because of the way the pools played out, it basically just heavily stacked one side of the bracket where all of the top 4 teams from Arlington are in one side, and then 4 other teams are going to have, one of them is going to have a free pass to top 3.
The top 4 and then everybody else. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that this is the way it played out. But we had FaZe Clan versus Space Station and Shopify versus Optic, both in winners round 1. And the results, kind of like Arlington. FaZe Clan coming out on top, though FaZe Clan kind of had the easier side of the bracket in Arlington, but FaZe Clan wins their matchup 3-1. I think Space Station started to look a little bit better in this matchup, by the way. Like, it seemed like they found their flow a little bit on Saturday. And then Shopify, crazy, going to Game 5 with Optic Gaming and icing that one up.
Yeah,
Did you watch
it
the
was.
series?
Yeah, I did. That. The ice in the game 5 of that one was nuts. But Space Station obviously loses winners round 1 to FaZe, which wasn't a surprise to us. I think you and I both had them pick 5th, which I know a lot of people thought that was crazy. I saw some people predicting Space Station like 2nd and stuff this event. I was like, have you guys been watching online? Like, have you guys been following along? Yeah, and so they go down early in winners to FaZe. The Optic Shopify, I mean, man, dude, like I really hope that the series between them for the rest of the year are more like this and not like the championship Sunday matchup that they had. Like,
yeah.
But I'm starting to worry now, which we'll chat about as we get deeper into the bracket. But unfortunate for Space Station. TSM Nemesis was a crazy good one too, though. I mean, TSM was icing like this entire tournament, dude. Like, look how many game 5s they have right there. They have game 5s and they're both their first 2 rounds for top 3. But I mean, Talik was playing unreal this event. Cloud9 getting completely mollywopped by Envy. Envy just, dude, they're the real deal, bro. They're the real deal. I mean, they were a game 5 away from top 3. You know what I mean? A game 5 away from top 3. So, and it was not close. It was just, all right, let's get Cloud9 out of the way, So, back to the drawing board for Cloud9. We'll be interested to see what they do moving forward. Obviously,
I'm not gonna lie. Like this is. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna get me more flack, and now I'm gonna get trash talked.
I mean, at this point, you're already all in on it, so you might as well just add another team to the hater list.
Boo Boo looked like ass. Like this whole weekend, he was some boo boo doo doo. Like, no, it was bad, man. I don't know if you were watching the series. In fact, I'm gonna pull up Dead Eye. I know stats aren't everything, but like at least the Cloud9 series, or the Envy series Cloud9 had, he wasn't even on the map. Okay, so he didn't do too bad overall, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I saw some series, man, where it was just like his whole team had double digits and he had like 4 kills, 2 assists, and 15 deaths or something like that. It's like
brutal.
Yeah, that's rough. But I don't know. And I can't, we looked bad too, so at least they were in the upper bracket. But yeah, Envy, the truth. Truly the truth.
I mean, 1 game away from top 3. It was that close, right? So TSM obviously ice is there, but man, the buzzsaw that was FaZe Clan. This is when I started to feel like, okay, like FaZe might be onto something here. Like they might be, setting themselves up for an event win, because they take down Shopify 3-2. Did you watch that series?
No, I missed that one. I think that one was happening while we were playing our lower bracket match.
Gotcha. Yeah, FaZe. I mean, dude, even though it was 3-2, like every time a game was teetering or it looked like it mattered, like there was just someone on FaZe that was clutching up, making a god play, and so they ended up beating Shop, which put them in the winners bracket finals, guaranteed top 3 already with TSM. And yeah, that upper bracket finals. I mean, why don't we go to losers first before we come back, because that all started on Sunday. Let's finish our Saturday matches first.
Okay.
Because when I look at these losers matches, like off rip, when we start, I do want to take a quick vibe check of each team. So I'm just going to ask a quick question there. Nemesis 3-0 over Zero Tenacity. Like, does Zero Tenacity make a change before next event?
Who would they even get? Like, you're not going to get somebody from BH3. Like,
we got to make it quick. We got to just be like yes or no, because okay, so they're not making a change. Okay, Gen G once again, gatekeepers of top 8. Absolutely sick to see. Love to see it. Ryan Noob still being Ryan. They had moments that look great. Breaking Shot had a rough event, and they still got top 8.
He had a rough event, but I want to give him some flowers, because I heard some, like, I was watching that series, right? And I was rooting for my boy Dylan, and I heard him. Ryan was the last one alive because they had just gotten camo in that Game 5 Slayer on Livefire. And Ryan was like, Rat Tunnel. And Ryan like started to take a 1v1 Chow bottom mid. And Dylan goes, Ryan, live! And Ryan immediately backed down out Rat Tunnel, lived with camo, and set up the next play. And then they just kind of snowballed that advantage, and like the game wasn't close anymore. And I'm like, bro, Dylan has matured so much, because 9 times out of 10, bro, back in the day, he's going, You win that, Ryan. Get
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Chow, chow, chow. You piv that. You piv that. Yeah. Not only did Gen G win that series for top 8, they went to game 5 against them, bro. Game
Mm,
5 for
that's
top
crazy.
6. I thought they were gonna win that too, bro. I was watching that like, dude, no way, Ryan. Like, I don't know. I don't understand how Ryan does what Ryan does, but shout out to them. All right, Cloud9, are they making a change before next event?
Uh, I I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I don't expect them to initiate a change.
Okay,
That's my answer.
cool.
I think their change would be because of a trickle down effect of a roster mania.
Gotcha. All right, we'll scroll us down here. Let's see the next section. Space Station Omit. Space Station wins 3 over Omit Gaming, and then obviously luck of the draw. We ran into Optic Gaming on another legendary losers run.
Yeah,
Does Omit make a change before next event?
probably.
Cool.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think that team was a kind of like an Envy, but like a weaker version. Like
Yeah,
they didn't click well. Like their play styles
I
don't
agree.
click well. Their personalities don't click well. So I think it was just like, hey, we're the next most talented in North America. We can get a pool play spot. Let's just do our thing
Yeah,
and see how it goes and have some fun at the event. And now it's like, okay, now what teams can we get on?
I see that. I could see that as well. Complexity. I can't ask you that question.
We're not
So
making a change.
let's move into the next. Oh, nice. He answered it anyways.
Of course, I said that after the last event, and then I got, I
And
got
then
the
you
text
dropped half the
message.
team yourself.
Yeah, me solo making the decision and enforcing it. No, I mean we talked about it like even backstage after we lost. Like we lost to Optic, but we were more upset about how we played on Friday versus how we played versus Optic. I think we showed signs of life versus Optic. It's just Optic is the defending champions, and then ended up being the 2-time champions. So it made sense that we lost to them, right? Like it's just
And I
lack
think
of reps.
Yeah, I think I even told you like the thing that sucked the most about this event for us was like not even the fact that we lost, but the fact that we didn't really get to see where we really sit.
Yeah,
Because it's like, yeah, we had a poor pool play showing on Friday, but it was like game 5 against Space Station. I could go either way. You know what I mean? We could have been second in that pool instead. But then, your first match on Saturday, it's like, oh, here's Optic. Okay, cool. I guess we don't even know. So it'll be interesting to see how the team bounces back. Like I said, Avusi, however you say that, is a really cool talent. So I'm excited to see how he grows with some of the vets around him and stuff. So
for sure.
on to the next series, which I think this is probably the most shocking series of the entire event.
Yeah.
Optic Space Station goes to game 5. Space Station goes up by 10, somehow finds a way to lose this game. And now I have no idea how to gauge this team. Nick, I do have to ask you, like, if you're Space Station, are you more bummed that you got top 8, or are you more hopeful, optimistic because you went to game 5 against the champs? What do you take away?
I think that Space Station still has something going on that nobody other than the guys on Space Station know the answer to. And I think whatever that is, I don't know if they're going to solve it. Like of the quote unquote top teams, this is the team that I expect to initiate roster mania, because clearly it's just not working, right?
Yeah.
I think what happened in this series is most likely Space Station stepped up to the challenge of Optic. Like it's former teammates, it's some rivalries, it's some like, hey, screw you for leaving us. And from the Optic standpoint, they just got done beating us. It wasn't terribly challenging, and they probably saw how Space Station looked the whole event, and they took their foot off a gas a tiny bit because they knew they had a long day ahead of them.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, it could also been like a Stellar series, right? Like me and you have talked about it, where like Stellar has that place where when he transcends to that, it's like they become a much, much, much better team. It's kind of like, I don't even want to say it's a backpack because they're all amazing players, but Stellar has that ability to really elevate to that point to kind of make them a force. But yeah, this team, I'm interested to know what the chat even thinks as well, because it's like the next event is their home event.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of a break, right? It's about a
2
month.
months.
I mean, yeah, 2-month break. Yeah, 2-month break, a little over 2 months. So like if they were going to try to rock the boat, like they would have to do it right now. And that would at least give them time to start figuring things out. Like, do you see that being the path they take?
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is like if they're going to make a change, it needs to be now, because we have 2 months till the next event, and then after that event, like you've got whenever the phase event is going to be, not long after. I'm assuming it's going to be sometime in September. Then you've got Worlds a month later in October. This is kind of like the biggest gap of time that you kind of have to play with to bring in a new fourth, figure out what you need to do, and fix your stuff. Plus, you have the Pro League that Shopify announced with LVT, so we can talk on that a little bit later as well. But that's going to be really good reps, really good practice for a new roster to get their stuff together before the home event. I think now's the time you're going to do it if you're going to pull the trigger, and I would honestly expect them to.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where if they were going to, I think they would try to do it as fast as possible because they know time is ticking, right? Like they have a deadline. Like I don't think they want to let their fans down at that next event. You know, like that's a big deal. Last year they won the whole thing in Salt Lake, so it's just the options are so limited. I don't know what move they would make. Like I don't know what move I would make if I was in this situation. Everyone above you is kind of locked. I mean, I'm talking about the top 4 teams. Obviously, there's a lot more teams above them than there normally would be when you get top 8. But interested to see what Space Station does, and interested to know what chat thinks they're going to do. Back to the upper bracket, obviously. Gen G, love them. Great showing. They lost game 5. I mean, not upper, sorry, losers.
Okay.
And then, Nemesis then ran into Shop, Angry Shop, and got chopped. That series, I feel like Shopify, they are kind of like a hard counter for Nemesis. You know, Nemesis had another great showing, another top 6, but that's the one team that they haven't matched up well against yet. Or, it didn't even look competitive, really. Shopify absolutely dominating that one.
I think Nemesis and Shopify have kind of similar playstyles as teams, just Shopify is way better at it. So Nemesis is a little more hit or miss, and the teamwork isn't quite as solid, whereas Shopify can move as fast as they want, and the teamwork is there. Like, I'm going to make up situations, but like, let's say Wootum initiates damage. It might take a little while for a Snipe Drone or somebody to show up and really capitalize on that damage. Whereas Shopify, last shot's going to initiate damage. Frosty's going to be there. Cycle's going to be there. Somebody's going to be there. And most likely that person who initiated is going to be playing their life really well and be a really difficult kill. All the things that I was praising Envy about. Shopify does really well. And I think that's why when you have similar playstyles like that, the one that like it always looks like Shopify is so much better because they just have a much stronger foundation in that playstyle than Nemesis does right now.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. So the question, do you think Nemesis makes a change?
I have a theory, but it's like an overarching.
I do
it's
too.
an overarching. Okay.
Yeah. I theorize. I think Wootum gets snatched up by SSG.
That same. I think SSG has already imported EU before. They can do it again. You bring in Wootum. He's clearly the star player in Nemesis. He brings a lot of star slaying power to Space Station, which I think they need. I don't know who they drop, but it's got to be one of the captains. I mean,
I think the Eco Stellar duo is too strong, bro.
Yeah, I like weirdly like Snakebite played really well this event.
He did.
And Lucid had pop off moments as well, but like I don't know who the problem is or what the problem is, right? But I think Wootum solves it.
I think it's the way the team is constructed is the problem. You're not going to sit there and go and like, I'm never going to say Snakebite's a problem on the team he's on. Like same thing with Ego, same thing with Stellar and Lucid. Like, yeah. I'm never going to say those guys are the problem. None of those guys are anchoring. Like, we'll put it that way, like as explicitly stated. But that team does need to speed back up. That team needs a little bit more a little more firepower. So Wootum would be a crazy pickup.
Also, Wootum played for Space Station Splitgate team
when
they were the world champions. So they already have his information. He's probably got an SSG jersey in the closet. Like,
the direct deposit's ready to go. You know what I mean? Like,
he's been on the payroll before. Like, this is a smooth transition. You bring him over. I don't know who he bunks with, but like, you get him grinding on NA soil. I think that makes him a force. That makes him like championship caliber, and then that starts a crazy roster mania because
that kicks off. Yeah, it kicks off a whole freaking thing. Like,
the Nemesis gets Barcode. Barcode shows up again. It's crazy.
Who do you like? They get Scoobmeister. They like one mouse and keyboard player for another. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's my theory. That's our theory. We'll see. Chat. You heard it here first. Moving on from there, Optic came down. I mean, Optic is still rolling. Yeah, Optic Envy 3-1. I mean, Envy got one.
They did.
And I think there's a world where Envy does it does better than top six, but they ran into that Optic Gaming, that lower bracket Optic thing is just, that's crazy. 2 events in a row
Yeah.
from round 1. You know what I mean? So they take down Envy 3-1, which led to losers semis. Optic Shop on Sunday morning. We're going to our Sunday matches, and this is where the event kind of got lame to me. I'm not gonna lie. It was so exciting all weekend long. There were 7 game 5s on broadcast on Saturday alone. And you get to Sunday, and it's just, there's not a single close matchup on Sunday at all. So started off with Optic Shop 3-0. I didn't even wake up in time for this match. That's how fast it was over. Yeah,
I have to go back and watch it. I missed it. I just know that Optic ran him over.
I didn't get to see it either, so I'm probably gonna do the same thing as you. But yeah, that was the first match of the day, which then led to our winners finals, which was FaZe TSM. I did watch this one, an absolute blender of a match, and I think there's 2 things. I think FaZe came in ready, and I think TSM still, like, those 4 players haven't figured out how to wake up on a Sunday yet. Like, I've seen them do this exact thing multiple times now, right? Where they dominate Friday, Saturday, all the way through to Sunday, and they can't get the engine rolling on Sunday in time for the matches. So they finish out, so they drop down, get taken down. They finish out 3rd once again.
I'm looking at Data Hive. Manny had 12 kills in the whole series. Druck had 16. That's rough. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh, it was bad. The TSM FaZe one was bad. It was like the casters were trolling them and stuff. Like, that's when it's really bad. Like, when the casters break character and start roasting you, you're having a bad day. So yeah, it wasn't competitive. Neither of their matches on Sunday were competitive. They were not ready. They looked like a matchmaking team, or worse.
So you're close with, like, obviously Trey and them.
Yeah.
What would your piece of advice be for, like, hey, how do we fix this for you guys? How do you guys get better on Sundays, basically?
I think they got to get up. They got to get to the venue 3 hours early and start shooting walls. Literally, like, they got to get in those, like, weird aim trainers that everyone plays with the move-in targets, and just like Legend. I heard Legend shows up to the venue 3 hours before and just shoots walls before they even get started. You know what I mean? Like, that's what a lot of those high caliber players are doing. Like, and clearly you're lacking in your ability to perform on Sunday, so you got to put in some more effort on Sunday specifically. So, like, whether that means, like, going to bed earlier on Saturday, getting up, early on Sunday, and really taking the time to get shooting, get rolling, get something kind of going, because clearly whatever they're doing now to prep on Sundays is not working.
Yeah. I mean, I will say they got top 3 as their first event back together as this 4. So you can't be too upset if you're TSM.
They're definitely not too upset, but this is the same thing that's happened to them before. So it's like, you got back together and you literally have the same placement with the same type of scenario where you make it all the way through and then just get body slammed on Sunday kind of happened to them. Yeah. So it is something where it's like, they do have, at least they're starting back where they were, which is good, right? And in a very highly competitive environment.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, so that drops them down to lower finals, where Optic has already swept Shopify 3-0 and is looking primed and ready to make themselves another grand finals appearance by 3-0ing TSM with the quickness.
Yeah. And this is where I get scared, man, because I really, and I've said this on the show from the beginning, I felt like this Optic Gaming roster as constructed, clearly best team on paper, clearly the team to beat. I really felt like if you wanted to have any shot in this season, you needed to take them down at one of these first 2 events. And now that they have done what they've done here at this event as well, I don't know if I see them losing an event this year anymore. Like, I really don't. Really? Especially if, Space Station, Shopify, some of these teams start switching up a little bit with players. I really don't see there being a world. Because now I would imagine, having been there, done that twice for them, they kind of know how to. I don't imagine they're going to lose round 1 winners again. At the next event, I don't imagine they're going to come out and get second in the pool again. I think that they're poised now. They are the team that they thought they would be. Granted, the road is a little bumpier than they were expecting, but their goal was to sweep the season, and so far, I mean, they're almost halfway there.
Yeah. So, question for you is, and I know we haven't really talked about the grand finals yet, but does Shopify need to make a change?
I don't think so. I don't know. I see this is a little bit more fluky for them than what we've seen, right? Because they beat them on Friday. They beat Optic on Friday in a game 5, and then on Sunday they get 3-0'd, and that's like the first time that they haven't had a close series with Optic. So yeah, I'm more inclined to think that they just had an off day, couldn't get it rolling on a Sunday, couldn't find the energy. But as constructed, like I don't see those pieces being upgradable. Like there's not an upgrade for Last Shot out there. There's not an upgrade for Cycle out there. There's not an upgrade for Frosty or Royal 2 out there. So I don't see it being something they look into.
I'm just saying, like, in a hypothetical world, okay, I agree with you. I just want to put this out there before it's clipped out of context and I get trash talked at Side Station again in Salt Lake City. There is a world where Space Station drops Snakebite, and then you can reunite three out of the 4 pieces of a World Championship puzzle, and then add in some crazy young gun like a Lash Out or a Cycle. Do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I there's a very similar scenario with Space Station and Phase as well that I brought up, where it's like there's these rosters that are like, you know, Trippy, Lucid, Penguin got second every event.
Yeah.
What's to say they don't try to reunite that, you know, that squad and get Lucid back, you know? The reality is, I think for FaZe and Shopify, they're clearly doing better than their other pieces.
Yeah.
Right. So
Very
like
true.
the decisions that they've made have paid off in dividends because they're having better event success than the pieces that have been let go and kind of left behind. So not ruling it out. Like crazier things have happened in the Halo scene, but I think that FaZe is definitely happy with where they're at, getting a second, you know, coming off of grand finals. First grand finals for Suppress kind of got some of those jitters out.
Yeah.
And Shopify, who have been in the running for it, I mean, basically the entire season so far, I think they're pretty happy with where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I don't think Shopify needs to make a change. I think they just need to figure out how to ice out some of these series against Optic, and they'll be in a better spot. Of course, obviously, you know, they lost to FaZe 3-2 as well, but I think this weekend was more fluky for them than it was like, hey, this is the future. We're slowly declining. And I also think there's a world too where like maybe scrims aren't challenging enough for them. Like maybe because they are blowing everybody out, they're not learning as much. Whereas everyone else who's getting blown out is like, hey, we learned a lot of stuff from this series. Now we know how to counter this. Now we know how to beat this. Like, you know, I think there's pros and cons to being the best team in scrims statistically, right?
I would agree.
But yeah, grand finals, Optic versus FaZe. This feels like COD in 2017.
And they had just played FaZe the day before in COD, which was crazy. Not really the most interesting series, if I'm being honest. There's not a whole lot to say. Optic dominated them.
FaZe did not look good.
FaZe didn't look good at all. Optic, they've been there, done that. Bound and Legend on a freaking 5-peat, which is like
nuts,
just unbelievable. So like they're no strain. That's the thing. When I talk about Sundays, like it takes a different type of caliber person to wake up and be able to lock in on a Sunday like that, you know. But when you've been there and done that this many times as these guys have, it was business as usual for them. And I think they were probably happy that it was FaZe waiting for them on the other side. The way they're just a hard counter for that team, bro. Hard counter.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Optic beats FaZe 9 out of 10 times.
I'm going to go 99 out of 100. I'm not even going to give them the 9 out of 10. I'm going to say 99 out of 100 times.
That's fair. I would say like maybe 95 out of 100. I think FaZe can squeak
maybe 95.
in there.
Yeah,
yeah. Like Formal wakes up. I mean, that's the biggest thing for this Sunday is I think Formal woke up. I think like Formal was a different animal. Every single series that I watched on Sunday, he just looked like he was built different as opposed to earlier in the tournament. I don't know if he just like has slow starts to tournaments in general and like get, you know, stronger and stronger as the event goes on, but like he was final in the grand finals.
Yeah, he looked great, and I've seen Formal hit that place for almost 2 decades now. He was unbelievable. I will say though, this event as a whole established for me definitely in my mind. I'm like Renegade's the best player in the game, and I think so. I don't think there's a conversation to be had. Like I'm not even going to entertain it with anybody except for maybe you if you want to have a conversation about it. But it was like from Friday on, like he was so unbelievably dominant and made it such good reads and play calls that like he pretty much allowed his team to be in a position where Formal could wake up, right? Where they could show up on a Sunday. I don't think they make it to Sunday without him. Like he came up so big in so many big series for them. He's insane, dude. Like you lose track of him for a split second. he's killing 3 of you guys as the last player alive with no help and like blowing the map wide open, blowing the play wide open for his spawning teammates. Like he's a menace, man. Menace.
I mean, he definitely saw, again, looking at data high for the event specifically. Renegade 747 kills to his name. Next highest was Bound with 673. But Formal with 232,000 damage as opposed to Renegade's 210,000. Renegade had the least damage on his team.
Yeah, I mean he's not a turret on his team. He is the guy that kind of hunts the damage, right? Like he's playing off of whatever his teammates give him. He also had the number 1 KD in the whole event, with a 1.33, which is like the next person highest was like 1.2 something, like not close.
I think that's what makes Renegade so good. It's not necessarily like, yeah, he can shoot well, yeah, he can snipe well, like he can do everything well. I think it's just he is so hard to kill. Like he knows how to play his life so well that it's basically like fighting a 2v1 because of he will get you one shot, then get his shields back, then get you one shot and kill you this time. Like he's just an unreal player in that regard, and I think that's what makes him such a fearsome player compared to a lot of others, even if he's not doing the most damage.
His KD doesn't even do him justice because he's the player that's always in the mix. Like, how do you have the highest? Like, how do you be the entry fragger on your team and have the highest KD? Like, it doesn't compute.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, he shouldn't be the one with the highest KD for the entire event as the entry fragger for his team. Like, yeah, that is absolutely insane. Yeah, absolutely insane.
Good on him. Good on them. 2 in a row, back to back. Let's see if I can go back to back with my prediction win, because
oh man, we do got to look into this event. We do got to look into this. We got to see who ends up winning this prediction war here. So
all right, so we'll start off with just looking at how the predictions shaped up for us, and then we'll look at a comparison with
what it actually ended up being.
So here's our predictions. I had Optic winning. You had Shopify winning.
Yep.
Actually, we'll just go to right.
Good there.
You had Shopify, then Optic, FaZe, Nemesis, SSG, TSM, 7th and 8th, Cloud9 and Gen G, 9th through 12th, Omit, Complexity, Envy, and Zero Tenacity. I had Optic, Shopify, Nemesis, FaZe, SSG, and Complexity. 7th, 8th, TSM and Gen G, 9th through 12th, Envy, Omit, Cloud9, and Ether. Let's look at how the actual results were real quick.
Yeah.
Share this tab instead. Okay, so our actual results. So Optic Gaming wins the event. I get a point there.
Okay.
FaZe Clan in second. You had them in third. I had them in fourth.
Okay.
So you were closer.
Okay.
TSM in third. You had them in sixth. I had them in seventh or eighth.
Okay.
Shopify in fourth. I had them in second. You had them in first.
It's closer for you, obviously. Yeah.
So far, I'm the only one who's actually gotten one right, but you've got, I think, gotten more closer.
Okay.
Fifth, sixth, Envy, Nemesis, and you had SSG and wait, is this right? SSG got top 8?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
I thought they got top 6.
No, they got top 8.
Oh shit! Okay,
that's why I asked you. Like, that's why I asked you. Like, are you more bummed that you got top 8, or are you more optimistic because you pushed Optic to game 5? Like, that's why I asked that question, because it's such a bad placing for them.
I zoned over you saying top. Oh, okay, yeah, no, they're.
When was the last time Stellar or Eco got top 8? I don't think ever.
Yeah, no, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. Okay, so Envy, Nemesis, fifth, sixth. We both had SSG, and then you had TSM. I had Complexity. So
yeah,
all of us are wrong there.
We're all wrong there. Yeah.
7th, 8th, you had Cloud9 Gen G, so you got one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I had TSM Gen G, so I got one of those.
Yep.
And then 9th through 12th, Cloud9, Omit, Zero Tenacity, Complexity. You got 3 out of the 4 of those, right?
Yep.
With Omit, Complexity, and Zero Tenacity. I got 2 out of the 4 right. Are we tied? I got Optic, Gen G, Omit, and Cloud9. You got Gen G, Omit, Complexity, Zero Tenacity. You got 4. I got 4. I think we're
Did you
tied.
say it? But didn't you say I was closer on like phases? I don't know. Okay, if we're just going straight off of who got what, we can tie it. That works for me.
If we're going straight off of who got the most
Yeah, we're tied.
accurate,
I think
we're
we're tied.
tied.
I'm cool with that.
If we start like measuring out like for a tiebreaker, I mean, I have Ether in the top 12, and they didn't make it out of the open bracket, so
Yeah.
I think I auto lose there. Damn, I don't know if we're goats or we suck.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like we weren't expecting pools to go topsy turvy like they did.
Yeah,
You know, and it's like
Yeah.
just Optic and Envy alone. Those two teams, either overperforming or underperforming, depending on which team you pick. Those two teams alone kind of threw the entire bracket out the window. So there's that. Also, I wasn't expecting Cloud9 to be as bad as they were, which is unfortunate.
yeah.
But yeah, pretty wild placings. The Space Station one, dude. I just don't even know what to say.
I for some reason this whole time I
That's
thought they got
Lucid,
top
Stellar,
6.
Eco, and Snakebite. Like, let that sink in. That's those 4 players just got top 8 together.
4 world champions.
Lucid just got top 8. Like,
I think it's crazy to talk about, but it's also showing how insane this season's going to be. Like, this is the second event in. All these teams are only going to get stronger as time goes on, which is what happens every single season. And the competition is already like, okay, any team can win on any given day. Like, the team that has won both events, Optic, has had to make round 1 lower bracket runs for both of their wins. Like, they're getting pushed literally to lower bracket the very first opportunity you can get pushed to lower bracket.
Yeah.
Anybody could beat anybody. And again, like, they were 1 map away. They were down 10 kills in that game 5?
Yeah.
They were down 10
They were
kills.
down 29 to 19 in that game 5, bro. Like, how I just
They could have been top 8.
Yeah.
And then who knows what would have happened? FaZe wins the event probably, because it's sure is not going to be Space Station.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What a wild season.
Wild season, wildly entertaining, but I fear that it won't be for the rest of the year.
Really?
I fear that it's just going to be Optic dominance now. I think that we've allowed them to build their confidence too much now at this point. Bound and Legend on a 5-peat. They don't know how to not win now at this point.
I think their confidence will be their downfall.
It could be, but I don't know. It shouldn't it have been for Formal his entire career then at that point, because he's been winning in every game that he plays. Like, I don't know.
I think there's going to be an event where they get caught lacking. Like,
that's what I said. I think they could choose one event, maybe, but I don't see it being like I don't think there's going to be like a legitimate contender against them like we saw with Shopify earlier this year, unless Shopify somehow finds a way to level it up. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Shopify will level it up. I think TSM will continue to get stronger, and they're already beating Optic in pool play. I think FaZe is going to continue to get stronger. I don't know how they're doing it, but they will. Especially now that they've added Royal One as a coach, which is awesome.
That was huge. That was so awesome. Someone in the chat literally put it perfectly in my stream, though. I don't think Optic's ever going to get caught. Like, TSM's never going to beat Optic on a Sunday. Sunday. It's the Sunday strength of a roster like Optic is what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about like you know what I mean. So if they're gonna have a bad event, they're gonna have a second place pool finish and somehow get knocked out on Saturday, because as soon as it gets to Sunday, it's over for everybody else. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that. I do think there's a chance that's still a team can come out hot and figure out how to play on a Sunday. Probably not TSM yet, but like I can see Shopify almost did it, right? Like Shopify almost managed it in the first event. I think there's a world where Shopify figures it out, because you can't count out players like Frosty and Royal 2. And the more reps Last Shot and Cycle get in these grand finals appearances, they didn't get one this event, but as they get more reps or those main stage championship Sunday appearances, I think they're going to get more calm, cool, collected, and they're going to look better. But on paper for everyone else, like, I'm a little bit disappointed in Nemesis. I think not having an NA bootcamp set them back from my expectations. I'm impressed by Envy, and I think that's another team that's like a TSM to me, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if next event we see them showing up on a Sunday the way they're playing this event. Yeah.
No, I would agree with that 100%. I think the next 2 months, though, are going to be really character building for a lot of these teams. Yeah. Like, does Shopify get better over the next 2 months? I hope so. Does Envy get better? Do they implode? I think they'll get better, depending on their work ethic and the leadership that who steps up as a leader to keep them, like who's going to keep these teams bonded and growing and improving over the next 2 months, right? Like, because teams are going to break up, teams are going to make roster changes. Every single AM team is going to make a roster change because none of them can figure out how to have any success in a real way. But during
I really hope Unreal Nightmare doesn't make a change, by the way.
dude, I love those guys, man. Every single person on the team is sick. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of stormy waters, some storms over the next couple months, and the teams that stick through it and build through it are real. Like, if you don't think it's already been cemented, like who's where, like it's going to be even harder come Salt Lake City to be a new team and sort of break into that top 4, that top 6, because those teams are so good.
Yeah, I think this roster mania that is for sure going to happen. And as of right now, I have not heard like I've reached out to every coach about like, hey, when are you guys getting back to scrims? And I've gotten a mix of I need to check with my guys, or not till mid-June, or tell me what day and I'll make sure we're on. Like, which shout out to Ether for that mentality.
Love those guys, man.
Yeah, I'm still shocked they didn't make it out, but especially after how they looked in scrims. That just goes to show you that online doesn't mean shit. Sorry for my language, but like online does not mean anything, because they were going 9-9 with SSG. They were looking good against everybody, and then they didn't make it out of open bracket.
And then they have their worst placement ever. Yeah, after this is their best online period scrimming wise, and their worst line placement. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what else to tell you other than that. That's just insane.
So I think the roster mania is going to really determine a lot of things. Like, I think Nemesis right now is getting kind of gatekept by their region. Like, I think they need a month-long boot camp in North America to really hit their full potential. Otherwise, Wootum needs to come over to SSG when that call happens. Again, prediction, not I don't know if they're going to make a change, but
I want to see what happens with Zero Tenacity, though, because, like, people forget Sika and Chick are over there, bro. Like, those guys are insane. Like, these are not, like, top 12 caliber players over there on that roster. Like, I expect so much more out of them. I mean, that's half of the quadrant roster. They got, what, third together? So, like, I definitely see, like, some stuff getting blown up. And hopefully some of these players start to show up and show out in the way that I expect, because, like, I don't want to ever see Sika or Chick get top 12 at an event again, like, period. But that's where the competition's at, you know what I mean? Like, that's the level we're at now. So
and that's the thing, like, Nemesis, like, in their region, they just scrim Zero Tenacity for good competition, and most of those scrims are heavily one-sided. Yeah,
like, what is
so
that?
It's like, so Zero Tenacity, like, there needs to be some growth there. Like, let's start. I don't know if there's like connection things going on the EU servers like we have in NA, where like California is tough and Penguin struggles or whatever, but like something needs to get figured out there. I expect SSG to make a change. I don't know what Gen G does. I would imagine Gen G sticks. Like,
I mean, I think so, unless, like, you know,
you think SSG goes after King like, Nick or something?
Unless a shooter like falls out of the air into Ryan's lap. Like, I don't know who would want to go there as currently constructed. I want to see the opposite happen. I want to see an EU team like poach like an NA player. I want to see an EU team be like, you're moving across the pond, like, come over here, so and so. You know what I mean? Like, we always see it go the other way. Like, I want to see, you know, someone end up on one of these teams, you know, like Zero Tenacity Huss or something. Like, all right, later, dude. Like, enjoy that flight. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't see that being like, the money's not there. The practice isn't there. I don't see that being realistic. I mean, the Omit who's on Omit? So you've got Mortally, Collect, Huss, and
is it Ezo?
Ezo. I don't see anyone on that team replacing anybody on Gen G or Space Station.
No, definitely not. It's going to come down to what move Space Station pulls, because, like, we don't, on the show here, we don't, like, pocket watch. We don't talk about salaries and money stuff like that. But, like, Space Station is a force when it comes to making offers that people want to take. So, like, they're going to have, I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they grab someone from Envy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's probably where I would look first is, you know, if you're going down the list of all the placements, it's like their first two options are going to be Envy and Nemesis in terms of, like, teams that would probably be willing to make a move above them. So I think they're going to be looking there to see what they can kind of grab.
Yeah, I would expect so as well because I don't think they would take anyone from Gen G. I don't think that
Cloud9, Omit,
other than
you're
like
like,
I mean
no.
King Nick has looked good, but I don't think he's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud9, I don't think they would take anyone. Omid, I don't think they would take anyone. I know you had your thought of like maybe Spartan, someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting. I think they're gonna reach for an Envy player or a Nemesis player if they make a change.
They're gonna offer them the bag, like they're gonna see, like,
And
what do
then
you
like
want? Friendship or
hypothetically,
monies?
like let's just say hypothetically they take Descendant. What does Envy do? I honestly don't think Descendant would leave, by the way.
I think they would go for Precision if
You
I'm
think?
picking someone off that roster, but I think Wutum is going to be the number one draft pick there. I know it's not the same team, but like I think they're gonna have like a tier list of like who they would want in what order. I think Wutum would be number one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if Envy loses like one of those guys, I think they grab one of the dudes from Omit because those are all their homies, right?
Yeah, but does that make them stronger or weaker?
They're going to be weaker automatically, like because they're not getting someone from above them.
Yeah,
Automatically they're weaker. They're not getting a player from the top four.
true.
So at that point, it's like, how do you, stem the tide a little bit there?
Get Ice Kid.
Ice Kid's insane. I don't think enough people got to see him this weekend because they got out in pools.
Yeah,
but he's definitely nice.
Yeah, shout out to whoever on that. I don't know if it was Envor or Super CC, like whoever decided, yo, let's bring in Ice Kid. But like, I love seeing that up. I mean, you talked about it earlier in the show, like with us picking up Avicii. Like, I think giving the young guns who are showing themselves time and time again chances to like step up and like learn more about the game and grow their game and be the next generation of players, like, you know, the cycles, the last shot, stuff like that. I think that's huge. And if those opportunities aren't like given, then and the same old names get recycled over and over again, then we see the scene become stagnant. But I think like, you know, being able to hop on a team with Envor and Super CC who have been around since season 1 doing their thing, like, yeah, they had to go through open bracket, but you know what? Like they still looked good and they still pulled up and they were still really close to causing some upsets in their pool. So
yeah, props to Envor. That dude just like finds a way to make it out. Like,
yeah,
I've watched him go through that open bracket so many times. So props to him for that.
For sure. I think that's it. We recapped our picks. We recapped the event. Any other closing thoughts for you, good sir, before we wrap it up?
What's the over under on this hurricane that's about to go down on team changes? That's my only question. That's my only thought. We giving it a week? Are we getting that far? It's going to affect us. It always does somehow, some way. So
I was texting Mental about that earlier because he was asked if I heard anything from like roster mania wise. I was like, no, I'm just praying it doesn't trickle down to us in some way.
Yeah,
I'm tired of rebuilding, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be crazy. I mean, I'm going to text you the minute I start hearing stuff.
Oh, of course.
And give you the scoop.
Dang, dude. Now I just would always tell people I have a plug. I didn't say who it was. Now you just exposed online that you're my plug. I would just be like, well, I know what's going on. I got a guy on the inside. He keeps me in the loop. But now they just know it's you. Dang it.
I feel like the dots can be connected pretty easily. Maybe I'll just start talking about all the rumors I hear on this show. Just feed into the drama and then let APG go.
I mean, our viewership would go way up. Let's be honest. If we were just out here spilling the tea every single week on what's going on behind the scenes of these changes, we'd have the biggest channel in HCS podcast, bro. We'd have the biggest one.
If we had started this show during like the gap between season 3 and season 4, when all of these super rosters were being built,
dude,
and I knew the rosters like after Christmas, like we would have been the biggest show in the world because I would have leaked all of that stuff.
Noted. 100% getting leaked for views. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
What's going on, chat? Today I'm going to tell you SSG's roster that they're announcing in 3 months. It's going to be a wild roster mania because it's one of the big names, because it's one of the big like 4, I would say. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't think it's going to trickle down to us, but you know what? We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I got to buckle up. So let the people know where they can find you and what you're going to be up to over the next couple of days.
I'm going to be praying that we don't get hit by this Roster Mania hurricane. You can find me on Die Ashes. If my tweets are emo, you know we got hit. If my tweets are happy, you know we're still chilling. So thank you all so much for watching. Hunter, let them know where you're at.
Yeah, Hunter JJX on Twitch and TikTok, streaming Halo Infinite, yelling at my screen every single day. Bringing the plus vibes though. Glad to be home. Glad to be back with my kids, but would love to see you guys in the stream. And yeah, episode 10, Nick. So stoked that we made it to the double digits, and we're not stopping anytime soon. So thank you guys for watching, supporting the channel, supporting the content. Be sure to interact with us, tweet at us, let us know what topics you want to see us covered. We're still thinking about our first guest. Let us know who you want to see on the show as well. But until next time, it's Hunter JJX signing us out. We'll see you guys right here next week.
Later.